This is Festival Sounds. I'm Bilal.
And I'm Tilly.
It is unplanned. We have already done an episode this week, Tilly.
I know, we're just doing a spur of the moment. We just need to react to the Glastonbury Line Up Poster, or we need the listeners to react even.
Landed at 8 a.m. Little shout out to ourselves. We called it last night.
We did. Well, you did. You and your anonymous text.
This week, listener reacts. Next week, in our normal planned episodes, look at me, I'm still wearing a shirt.
They can't look at you, Bill. They can listen to you.
Oh, that's true. But this is absolute immediate. Let's just record something. The listeners have been messaging us. Next week, we'll do a cool, calm, what are the hidden gems on the lineup? And we'll do a proper episode then.
Sounds like a great plan. What have the listeners been saying? What is the instant reaction?
First of all, Tilly, scream, the Glastonbury poster just dropped. What did you think when you saw it?
My initial reaction, I wasn't overwhelmed, I wasn't underwhelmed. I was just whelmed, just in the middle.
Yeah, it's hard to take in all of it. So what we're going to do, let's have the listeners tell us what they think. And it buys us time to kind of figure out.
To decide what my opinion is, because currently I don't have an opinion.
So you haven't seen any of these comments. I'll read them out.
Okay.
We'll see how we go.
I like it.
First up, the thingy.
Oh, friend of the podcast, the thingy. Sir Thingy.
Right? He hits us with some facts.
He hits us with some straight
Sliding
facts.
into the DMs with some facts.
As always.
Third earliest lineup drop. John's highest name since the introduction of 2 posters in 2014.
Nice.
First day splits on a poster since 2010.
Whoa.
Then he says, all in all, marvellous. The thingy has got those stats down.
Yeah, literally, I would not have even... I just saw the poster and was like, meh, a poster. But he just knows. The man knows everything.
He did this on the fly.
Mysterious.
He was probably walking down the street, firing off stats on a text like it's nothing.
I love the idea that this is just in his head. He's just like, 2012, 2016, 2021.
See, he just sees it like the Matrix.
Yeah, literally.
What he says about the poster, though, definitely better than last year's first poster. More facts. Did a quick recce. There were 24 acts he was interested in last year. This time it's 38, and that's before listening to acts he doesn't know. Saturday and Sunday are bringing on the Clash Fear. He is straight into the detail. He knows the numbers for himself, not just the festival.
Yeah, that's really good. 38 people to be interested in at any one festival is amazing. So... you can't hate that. That is great.
LDT, looking forward to the nostalgia of Kaisers, Weezer, Scissor Sisters, Franz. I get that. You love the nostalgia,
I agree. I said immediately to you, Scissor Sisters, I would be well up for that. That sounds unreal. They're doing a world tour this year. So, amazing. Great.
Weezer is a really interesting one.
It is. They're the kind of band that you don't think about very often, but when you do, you're like, oh, maybe I do like this.
That lead singer, he's got game. He's got some game. He's got Riz.
He's got Riz. Please never say that again.
Killing me here. I'm trying. I'm really trying. Victoria messaged, I love the lineup. Some great music, but also great 90s stuff. It's not all about the headliners.
I agree.
And then she says, I would love to be on your podcast, lol. I don't think that was a lol. I think she wants to be on the podcast.
Feel free, come on the podcast.
Should we do it?
Why not?
That'd be fun. Let's do it. But there is some great 90s stuff in there.
Yeah, there is.
Does she mean Supergrass? Are Supergrass 90s?
Supergrass 90s, yeah. Supergrass play 90s.
Yeah, Supergrass good. Moving. Moving is a class song. Should we move on?
Let's move on.
We told you we hadn't prepped for this.
I love it.
Dan Lenny. Dan Lenny has followed us for a long time. Big up, Dan Lenny. Look past the average Pyramid and other headliners, with the exception of Prodigy, and there's plenty to fill his days. The countdown is on.
Yeah, it is.
I don't agree. Look, we love you, Dan, but I don't agree that they're average Pyramid. I also think they're not oh my God, Pyramid.
Yeah. They're definitely good Pyramid. No one necessarily has the wow factor yet, but maybe I just need to sit and stew in it, because we said that last year, didn't we? We said last year was a bit of a growing on you lineup, and I think it could be the same for this year, for the headliners anyway.
And along those lines, Handsome Chris, he's not actually called Handsome Chris, but
Handsome Chris.
I know this guy, Chris. He is quite handsome.
Handsome Chris.
He says, on that note, he says it's missing the wow factor legend like Elton or Paul McCartney.
Yeah. But although, I mean, some would argue that, who is it? Rob Stewart? Rod Stewart has got that wow factor.
I think Alanis Morissette is the wow factor at that legend level. She's a legend, isn't she?
I mean, Neil Young is the legend, really, I guess. But we did already know he was coming, which is maybe why people are kind of don't feel like they've got the wow factor.
Yeah, there was quite a few leaks. We have a post from about a month ago and we guessed the 6 headliners on the 2 main stages.
I mean, Neil Young leaked himself, so
yeah,
gotta give it to him.
And we only get credit for 5 out of 6. Ross is bigging up Charlie XCX. Can you help me with the pronunciation? Is it Doechii?
Doechii.
Oh, okay. Doechii. Do I have to say it with grammar? Doechii.
Yeah, you've got to say it.
What about in a northern way? Doechii.
Doechii. Yeah, I agree.
Charlie XCX and the Doechii clash is brutal.
That's
I struggle
really...
with my vowels. It's a northern thing. He's hyped for Buster. Ross, I'm hyped for Buster.
Yeah.
If Buster brings his A game, the peak 90s A game, then that's an incredible set. If he delivers 90s the way Lauryn Hill delivered 90s, oh my God, I'm walking the same way I did with Lauryn Hill. Also hyped for Self-Esteem, Lola Young. Lola Young is on that trajectory.
Definitely.
That song Messy, that's a catchy song.
Yeah, it's a catchy song, and like TikTok loved it, so I really think that's going to help.
Ross signs off with, it's so good. So some people are loving this.
I think it's really mixed reaction from even from speaking to people. Some people are like, yes, it's amazing. Some people are like, meh. But again, I think it's going to grow on us. I truly believe that.
Another Dan message saying quite possibly the best lineup I've seen from Glasto. So diverse with pop acts with Charlie XCX, Olivia Rodrigo, Lola Young. More love for Lola Young.
Yeah.
That's going to be a busy set.
It is.
And this is not anecdotal. Sound data set 2 people who have messaged us. So that means that crowd is going to be packed.
Wild. There's going to be at least 2 people.
That sample size is big enough. Absolutely, we know. More love for Weezer as well. Absolutely. Yeah, I get that, Dan. Kavita. So I met Kavita at last year's Glastonbury, and she's so nice. We're going to get her onto the pod. She's actually a broadcaster. Well, no, this is a bit of a tease, not going to say too much. But yeah, we need to get her on the pod. She's a very interesting person.
Yeah.
She was hoping for Lady Gaga. She's doing a tour. Wouldn't that be great? New album out as well.
We did say that as well. We said Coachella have got Lady Gaga, so kind of maybe we were hoping for like a big name like that. But maybe there's still time. Maybe not necessarily Lady Gaga, but maybe another person will be announced. Who knows? But
she's a big love for Charlie XCX, Olivia Rodrigo, and Ray. So that, those female artists are represented.
They really are. They really are. I'm glad that the scissor from last year, I know that was also quite mixed. I'm glad that hasn't put people off kind of, I don't know, a big female headliner, because some people were a bit disappointed with that. So I'm glad people are still really excited for Olivia Rodrigo and Ray and everyone.
I think it's going to go the other way. Neil Young is up against Charlie XCX on the other stage. I think that's going to be packed.
I agree. I think there's going to be a big age split, though. I'm already picturing it.
Yeah, the young ones like me will be at Charlie XCX.
And the old ones like me will be.
So what kind of age split are we talking about?
No.
We are in a little group chat with Glastocast. If you haven't listened to the Glastocast podcast, I recommend it. Partly because I was on it last time.
And I wasn't. Is that what you're trying to say, Bill?
You were in Spain.
I was in Spain.
Jesse and Miguel, they know their stuff, and they've been podcasting about Glastonbury since 2019. We got a voice note from Jesse, and Jesse was saying, where's Lady Gaga?
Yeah, we had the Coachella chat of, come on, Coachella got Lady Gaga. Where's our Lady Gaga?
I think this poster holds its own with Coachella. Primavera Sound, I think, was more bold, but I think it still just about holds its own there.
Yeah, and Jessie was saying about missing Chapel Row, and she's very sad Chapel Rowan's not on that lineup, which I also agree with.
That is the staggering omission.
Yeah.
She must be a TBC.
Surely.
That she's not there just says they ran out of money, or for some reason she hates Glastonbury. Yeah,
because you've got Olivia Rodrigo, you've got Charlie XCX. Like, you need the trifecta. You need Chapel Rowan there, surely.
We need to understand why
Why she's not there. So if Chapel Roan's listening to this, then please go to Glastonbury.
Blair has messaged, doesn't wow me, but the lineup hasn't for a few years now. Even so, not being there is unthinkable. I think that goes to the heart of people who have been and realise the lineup doesn't matter.
Yeah, even Glasto Thingy said that when we did our episode with him. He said he's not been like stunned by the lineup in a couple of years, but he still would go every year just because it's incredible and the whole experience is great, isn't it?
If the Pyramid headliners were Razorlight and the Wombats, I would still buy a ticket. In fact, aren't the Wombats on here?
Yeah, they are. That is also another thing that throws me. I know you said you don't mind it, but the alphabetical scares me a bit. The way it's listed alphabetically, I feel like I keep missing people. I'm like, oh, hang on.
Yeah, Weezer right down the list. Buried in there, Snow Patrol as well. They probably deserve a bigger font.
I have to remind myself it's alphabetical because every time I look, you know, when you go through a normal festival poster, you expect kind of the lesser known names to be at the bottom, whereas it doesn't necessarily run like that on a Glastonbury poster, which is fine. It just confuses me when I'm not used to it.
Especially because there's that initial, oh my God, I've got to look through the whole list. What's on?
It's so overwhelming.
Someone's already sent me a playlist with 3 or 4 songs from every artist. That's incredible.
They must have been right on it.
We'll cover cool acts that we found from the poster next week.
This is just spur of the moment, quick as we can. Gotta react.
And Charlotte reacted. Even if I recognised not one name on the lineup, I could guarantee I would still have the best time at this amazing place. And then put all of the emojis in that message.
Yeah, I feel like that's just the general sentiment for kind of anybody who might, like, similar to me, be feeling whelmed about the lineup. It's like, well, I mean, not that I'm going, but you'd have a great time anyway, no matter who was playing. If there was not one bit of music at all the entire weekend, I would still have a great time.
100%. I'm with you. I think they're slaying it.
I nearly just spat out my coffee. Maybe this is the reason Chapel Roan isn't playing. She heard Bilal try to use the lingo and she thought, this just isn't for me.
Eventually, I'm going to get one of these words to land. I'm going to say it in a natural way. Do you remember, like, when you tried to teach me to use the word low-key or the phrase low-key?
Yeah.
And I spent an afternoon trying to work it into...
You're closer now to low-key than you used to be.
Am I? Barely.
Yeah, low-key.
Vintage Laureate, which I love that name. Vintage Laureate says, the strength is in the undercard, some great act. Now it's just where they're placed. Fire up the Clash Finder. I like where your head's at, Vintage.
Agreed. I'm going to be so interested when people actually start having to break down the clashes, because that's when things get interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. James, similar sentiment. The smaller acts seem far better. Yeah, I agree. I think the undercard is really, really strong.
Yeah.
Last message. Earth to Talia. Can't wait to see what Jade delivers after her Brit Awards performance on the weekend.
Wait,
did you see it?
Who was
Jade.
that? Jade. Oh, no,
People are talking about Jade.
I've not seen that. I'll have to have a look.
Maybe it's a hidden gem. I haven't heard Jade either. Didn't see the Brits. Maybe if we were more mainstream, we would do a Brit Awards reacts. But I think we've just shown that neither one of us care.
Neither one of us actually really know what's going on ever.
Can you imagine that day that we go to the Brit Awards and we'll be the dickheads chatting in the back?
Yeah.
I'm going, all right, yeah, okay, we get it, Sabrina. Yeah, you're wearing a Beefeater costume, whatever.
Have you tried the snacks? Have you tried the champagne? There was all over the champagne.
That's so true. And if they've got branded M&Ms, I'm stealing those. We're recording this 5:30 in the evening, so sorry if we missed any of your messages. They were still coming in as we were recording. But we'll try and include them in next week's episode if you do message. Don't want you to feel like you missed out. Love the messages. Thank you so much for sending them in. It's so interesting to hear what you thought about the lineup. We'll tell you our proper considered opinions next week.
Yeah, we'll do a bit more of a deep dive next week. We'll kind of actually go into some of the hidden gems that we might think are on there, how we feel about the headliners, all of that. But yeah, if you've got any more messages, send them our way, because you can never have too many, and maybe you'll get a shout out. Thank you for listening. We know this is a bit of a raw episode.
if you want to leave us a review, do not base it just on this episode.
Please don't.
we did this because we wanted to put something out there. But if you do want to leave us a review, we really appreciate it. Again, thank you to everyone who's listened to us over the winter. Big love to you all.
Thanks for listening. Bye.